To do a multi-step, it means you're going to do more than one step to solve the inequality, which when we have our inequality here, we need to get rid of the negative 13 and the negative 11. So I'm going to move the negative 13 over, so when I move it to the other side, so let me start with a negative, and I move the negative 13 to the other side, it becomes a positive 13. So now it's moved. So I have a negative 11y greater than, when I add that, I get 55. I'm going to divide by a negative 11, and when you divide by a negative number, the sign must switch directions. So I get a negative 5. So there it gives me my solving. The number line, once again, I go to a negative 5, one number to the right, in this case it happens to be a negative 4, and one number to the left, negative 6. Because there's no line underneath it, it's an open circle, and it goes to the left. To write an inequality, which is what we're going to spend most of our time on, we just want to write this exactly as we see it. So we have 5 minus 6 times a number. So 5 minus 6 times a number. Now, instead of equal to, it says more than. So this is more than, so it's the bigger number. So I go greater than 4 times the number plus 45. So what I've done is I've written by translating, and instead of using is, like we normally, we have a more. And a more than means greater than. So this is greater than that. Now once we have this, we're going to solve our equation. I'm going to move this over, so that becomes a negative 4n. I'm going to move this over, it becomes a negative 5. So when I go negative 10 and a negative 6 and a negative 4, I get a negative 10n greater than, and 45 minus 5 is 40. I'm going to divide by a negative number. And because I'm divided by a negative number, the sign switches directions, and I get my answer as a negative 4. This problem we need to solve by getting rid of the parentheses, which is the distributive property. So if you go back to the distributive property, I'm going to get 12t minus 20 plus 7 greater than or equal to 8t plus 3. Now from here, we're just going to solve the inequality. I'm going to combine my like terms. So this is 12t minus 13 greater than 8t plus 3. Once I've done that, I'm going to move my letters to the left. So I'm going to move this over, so it becomes a negative 8t. I'm going to move this over, and it becomes a positive 13. When I do that, I get 4t greater than equal to 16. Now I'm divided by 4. Now because it's not a negative number, I don't switch the sign, so I get t equals 4. The graph is simply going to the 4, one number to the right, one number to the left, and it's a greater than and equal to, so I put a solid circle, and it goes to the right, my arrow. And so there is my graph of that inequality. So we're going to do this problem. We're going to solve this inequality, and we're going to end up with an empty set. And we'll just see why. 9t, and we distribute. Minus 12. And then I combine like terms, so that becomes 4t plus 25 less than or equal to 4t minus 12. Now I'm going to move my 4t over and make it negative. And when I do that, I get 0. So I have 25 less than or equal to negative 12. If you look at that, this is not true. It's false. 25 is not smaller than negative 12. So this is what's called an empty set. Now if you look at this next problem, we distribute 3, we get 12m plus 18 less than or equal to 42. Let me do this all over again. Let's go 12m plus 18 less than or equal to 42 plus 12m minus 24. So if I move my m's over, move this over to minus 12m. So that gives me 18, and then 42 minus 24 is also 18. This is a true statement. 18 is equal to 18, and so this is all reals.